Jump scare. This is when Jay did his placements and was like plat 2 with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
he's
if he's
tank.
still up
Oh,
there.
I see. So this is your alt account. I'm assuming it's diamond as well.
Yeah, I think I was plat 1 at this point. It's diamond now, but same range that we normally play in.
Okay, and how long have you been playing Lucio for?
Not super long. Since this season, like end of last season.
Okay, so about a week now. A little over a week.
Yeah, like 2 weeks literally.
2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. So not super experienced with Lucio, but you do play a lot of support. I know you're a Juno grinder.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
For the audience on YouTube, because I am recording this now. I mean, your Omoon's account. Your Worsy Girl is okay. It's not private. Good.
No.
So yeah. For those of you at home, this guy's a Juno fucking grinder. Like you go this season, 60 win rate, doing pretty well for himself. Season before, 58 games played. Season before that, look at those games played. This guy plays an unreal amount of Overwatch. But
I do play a lot of Juno. Since Juno came out, she has definitely been my main by far. My second most played character now is Juno with like 150 hours.
like compare that to the Kiri, right? Compare that to the Lucio. Compare that to like a Moira. Okay, you barely play Moira. Would you play like maybe sometimes Brig?
Brig, yeah. There you go. I got like 6 hours,
Not that much in comparison, right? So
Right.
definitely a Juno grinder. For any other character, very imperative that you dip your toes into other characters. So I'm glad that you're doing this now rather than later, because you could be like me and you could hit like Masters GM and then realize, oh wow, I'm only good at one character. So I kind of have to like almost start Overwatch again from scratch.
Right. And especially with this season being so dive heavy, I've thought it's pretty important for me to play Lucio, Brig a little bit more.
Okay, so let's see here. Let me get Spectre over there now. Okay, from a compositional standpoint, we have Sig Ash. I'd like my Sig Ash to be staged on height, but obviously you can't have everything in plat. You kind of just have to make do with what you have.
Yeah.
As for what the Lucio does in the Ana comp here, you're mostly just you're going to be speeding the Ana around, either to peel for the monkey, or whatever Tusk decides to play. I'm assuming it'll be some kind of dive character, S5's Venture, and also to like help her rotate for like aggressive nades. I think we already know that the Lucio, the big thing with the Lu is being able to speed people around, especially your low mobility characters. Your Ashe is not going to need it as much because she has Coach. Your Echo is definitely not going to need it. Yeah, you're mostly going to be playing around your Ana. Your Sigma's pretty self-sufficient too. So like, I guess from where we want to start, you could probably just be okay with like poking on high ground with your team, or you could go for a really cheeky boop from like a high ground position, maybe like looking through the corner, but it's a bit risky. So playing it safe is okay. Let's see what you do.
I think I end up starting up here. I might drop down to help my Sigma.
Likely that time is passing at the same rate it always has. Barring relativistic effects, of course.
One of the things about Boblo that I really don't understand is like, for the majority of the time that you play Overwatch, up until you hit a certain point, everybody thinks that the Lucio on defense is really weak. Just because of the nature of like, he's a character that people associate with pushing up and just like tempo control. Like tempo is like a low-key a fucking buzzword in the Overwatch community, bro. Like being able to speed out is extremely good too.
Well, that's my thought in this comp, right? Is that we're so pokey that they'll be on top of us really quickly, especially on this choke.
Yeah, so this is all normal. This is fine. The Bap Mercy is quite weak, so you're going to be able to get a lot of spam value from nades. It's like Lucio, his damage is surprisingly good. Not horrible, but it's very.
I should have just been quicker. Yeah.
It's very risky. So you have to be careful when going for surprise boops like that. It needs to be like quicker. So it was a good idea. It was just like a bit too slow. Okay, so this is fine. You need speed out. Healing the corner is not the end of the world. There's not really much for you to speed on Rialto besides minor rotations, like if your DPS calls for you on an angle to go. So like you just chilling here and healing is okay. Here I would speed
so my
out.
thought here, just I'm just trying to build beat. Is why I'm sitting on healing.
Okay, okay. What are you? You're 83? Not horrible.
Yeah.
I think like, now granted, is Jay, so he's probably not gonna call him to like speed out or anything. He's just gonna like stack on his position and expect 2 healers to pump it into him. So I don't mind you healing amp there, but ideally you would once the cart gets to this part of the map, because your monkey can very easily just cheat on the Sig and disrespect Sig and go for your backline. You have to be ready to like amp your team out, especially Jay, so we can like come back here and either play this corner like a little bit farther out, like this corner here, and have time to rotate there. Or he like walks inside of your team to rock and whatever, like Genji, monkey engage. So I would say I would speed amp there, but because of your specific circumstance, in that like your tank isn't, you're not entirely sure if your tank is gonna peel out, then there it's okay. But like if you play against a better tank and you play like higher elo, instead of using amp healing to sustain yourself, you actually sustain yourself by just kiting out of the situation, saying nope, I want to get the fuck out of here. So like
normally
sometimes
that's my play, but I just don't think Jay's gonna use speed here. Is why I stay.
Sometimes it's better to just nope the fuck out this way, or you could like rotate here into this area, and this area is like kind of annoying to get to, especially from high ground. It's annoying to shoot something like that. At least for me as a Genji, if I'm from this position or this position, it's really annoying to kill someone who's amped in that area. So
that makes sense.
But otherwise, it's not horrible. You're getting beat charged. We're 87 to it. We're hitting some of our shots, which is nice. I think you could have saved him. I don't think it would have mattered that much, though. He probably would have died eventually, but like you would buy him in 5 seconds. If we get the kill there, we're gonna wall right out. What is your sense, by the way? It looks like your sense pretty low.
It is pretty low.
Not a bad thing,
It's,
just wondering.
Like 850, 5.5, 6%.
So 850 DPI with 5.5. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That touch is not horrible. Yeah, that makes sense. I think there it's more so because you're forced to touch. It's definitely not an ideal beat. You'd rather like with the Lucio, you'd rather beat second, if that makes sense.
Fair.
Like on the engage towards the point when you're like it's about to cap and you need to get a recontest. Obviously, you want to get the beat off quickly. Ideally, you would like to beat ult, or you would like to beat when your team is low. But there, you need the sustain to like give people a safety net to comfortably touch the point, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I would wait for my Echo to build copy, or like for her to like calm that she's gonna have the copy and she's gonna go, and then I would beat when she's there. That way, like everybody's staged instead of now. There's a little bit of a delay where you're looking at your Echo right now, and now she's about to jump, right? But beat's already gone. Like if you look at your team, they've already used the beat, and 2 have already died. And people LOS the beat too. Like, not everyone got it. And because you have 466 meters, right? You didn't have to touch when you did. You had another like 2 to 3 seconds ish of leeway to where you could have communicated it.
Right. Yeah.
The idea is good.
It was just the timing. About, not getting there
not being able to touch. Yeah. And then you dying is kind of whatever. Like you could have played it a little better, like maybe amp and into the mini and like survive for a little longer. But it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. I think you guys have lost this already, and we're also not nanoing because Star died. So it's like this is awkward. So I don't blame you too much for that. The beat could have been a lot cleaner.
That makes sense. In normal circumstances, I save beat for that blade against their comp here, but.
Yeah, the desperation of having to touch.
Normally, Lucio and Genji build about the same rate, in my experience. So.
I think if I minimize my OBS, I think I can actually get a big, substantial fucking FPS boost. So it doesn't look as choppy. Yeah, that looks
Yeah,
better.
actually, that helped a ton.
This is okay. I'd be a little bit careful booping the Winston there,
Hmm.
just in case your Sigma, like, he gets a nice angle to get a rock on him, and then you end
And
up
then I boop
booping him out of the ability, right? Like, that's one of my pet
Yeah.
peeves as Genji playing for Lucio, is like sometimes Lucio player will just boop people for the sake of doing damage with it, or like for the
Yeah,
sake of
yeah.
displacement. Think about like getting a valuable boop versus just booping for booping, you know? Unless you're like 1v1ing a target, it doesn't matter. Like here, booping him doesn't really matter. And it's actually a good boop because you get him into Echo LOS.
No, that makes sense. It's just such a short cooldown. I do definitely do it sometimes for just extra damage.
Yeah, it definitely can be overused. There was a good one because you're creating a little bit of separation from him so he can't juggle you. And that gives your Sigma time to rock him. So that's good. So you see like our Echo got Immo out. Bob is in. This is a very supportive style of Lucio.
Yeah, I am not the Reddit Frogger.
The Reddit
Lucius,
Frogger,
for
no,
sure.
definitely not.
I'm more of a like Violet type of Lucio, play with the team.
Here, if you... was your intention to get to high ground there?
I think I was just uncertain of what I wanted to do. I was trying to decide if I wanted to go high ground or if I was trying to stay down with my Sigma.
If you don't know this already, if you just turn your camera directly up and press space as you go up, that'll give you the most verticality when you use wall ride. So if you just
sick. I
you
did
can
not
use
know that.
camera manipulation to just turn your camera up and then it'll like put you up there. Versus if you put it on a diagonal and you try to like ride up slowly, it'll take way longer or you'll just miss entirely.
Right, then you gotta go back and forth and like kind of rock the wall.
So like depending on what you have, if you have like it bounce to mouse 5, whatever your wall ride is, just keep mashing it and then putting directly up on your camera and you'll get over.
Gotcha.
You can almost use it like a pseudo wall climb with that. You can get to anything in the game. It takes a bit of time, so you want to be doing it pre-fight rather than like in the middle of a fight. But sometimes it can be the difference between you getting to a height and living, and like getting to a mini or whatever, and like dying.
That makes sense.
And sometimes it's good to like go on flanks with it, because like you can like wall right up here, and then on certain maps you can go for like an amp speed boop. You can get people off of bridge here, right? Like you can be cheesy with it. Like you can be a supportive Lucio, but I think that the ideal Lucio is instead of the opposite end of either extreme, where one end you have super supportive Lucio, and then the other end you have really like stupid fucking Reddit Frogger. Like at least Frogger is good, right? Like,
But no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
one of those players who thinks they're Frogger, you know, having that nice middle ground where you can play make on the Lucio while also being a very like.
I will also say that
player.
this game was about a week ago, so I have substantially gotten more comfortable with just Lucio movement. And
Yeah.
wall ride and jump around and stuff.
Okay, this is weird. This is like. This is kind of feeding. It's not.
Absolutely.
It's not like feeding, but it's kind of feeding. The reason why I say it's kind of feeding is you're fighting at the same time as your team. You have a Sig Nano here, so he's going to get usage out of this beat, but like you aren't entirely sure if your team is going to walk up here. I would understand if your Echo was back here and we were actively fighting in this position, but you walk into the window. Granted, this BAP is plat, so he's not going to kill you, but like if the BAP is even slightly better, you might Ajax there.
That's fair.
Not only that, but because of the position that you put yourself in because you ran through the window. Not saying running through the window was bad. Running through the window was actually good, but it has to be coordinated with your team. Your Echo's preoccupied killing the Genji here. She's gonna fly in and get value off of this, but there's like it's not certain. This is something that has to be calmed, and we're also using both support ults. And again, because you've walked into the window, it's put you in a position where you have to use beat now or you die. Because the second that this BAP turns around and you don't have 1,000 HP, you're just gonna get triple headshotted, you know? So you feel pressure to use beat.
That's exactly it. I just put myself in an awkward spot and then I had to use beat and get value out of it.
Like if you guys don't win this fight, this is really bad because that's both support ults. So we're gonna kill the Ran. This is good. He ends up getting isolated because of it. So it ends up working out, but very scuffed.
Yeah. I think the thought there was, right, to get through the window and get Bap out of position so he can't use the window on my team. The execution just wasn't there.
See, this is what I mean. Where like you're doing it kind of there, where you're looking up, but you're like looking at the wall, looking up.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
I
If you're
getcha.
looking like directly up towards the sky, it's a lot faster to get up there, and you don't have to like worry about am I gonna make it or not. I also think that during these downtime in fights, where like especially on longer sideline maps like Rialto, where you're not worried about like dying to some random spam because you have like Sigma here in the corner, right? You can just jiggle
Right.
peek. Because
That's
there
right,
was
just spam.
there was like 5 or 6 seconds there where you were kind of just like thinking of what the next play was, which I don't mind, but I think you could be poking for that little bit of extra ult charge, like that 5 to 10% extra ult charge to build your beat faster.
Yeah, that makes sense. And hit a couple headshots, you know, I might get a nade out or something.
Which is what we're gonna do now. That was scuffed as fuck. Be careful. Be very careful.
I think I wanted a boop.
Ends up working out. Okay. Poking. There, I think I would be okay walking up a little bit and then pushing the Ramatra back with boop just a little bit to create a little bit of extra separation for my Sig. Good boop there on the back. I'm gonna end up killing him. Or just sustaining. I think, yeah, you could look to play just a little bit more aggressive. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, not even going in for like kills or anything, but just like being okay playing in front of them here. Like, see there, they get naded, you capitalize on the opportunity, and you get a pick, right? This is a bit scuffed because you're like while riding into LOS of level 3 turret. It's only because it's hitting someone else, so you don't potentially die for that.
Yeah, I originally wanted to go into the window and back inside, but I missed the window, so I just had to keep going.
You just have to keep going, yeah. When you do that, it's good to swap from healing amp to speed amp so that you get a little bit of extra oomph to your wall ride. Even if you're not using amp, it makes your wall ride significantly faster than when you're on heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, the majority of the time when you're escaping, it's better to wall ride and like use speed to escape into cover and then heal and then go to a health pack, then heal on the way there. Because if you heal on the way there, even though you're sustaining yourself, you're taking
You're just
more
taking
damage.
More damage.
Then,
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
and you'll end up dying anyways most of the time. There are certain scenarios where heal amp can get you out of a tricky scenario, but like that comes with a lot of time, and not even I know as a Lucio, like I don't play Lucio that much, so I'm not 100% sure. But majority of the time, like you want to be when you're in a tricky situation, using speed to escape. See, it's the same thing
Lucio
as
doesn't
before.
heal that much, so it makes sense.
Yeah, like the heal amp is good burst heal, but now you're without speed amp for 12 seconds, or however long the cooldown is. I think it's 12 or 13. So it's something to keep in mind. Now, defense Lucio is actually quite simple. You're really just poking and then speeding to rotate out. Your enemy monkey wasn't really going on the auto that much, and then he swapped to Ram. So in that match, and because the high ground is so oppressive on bridge, there's not really like many avenues for a monkey to jump in anyway, so I see why he went Ram. There's not much of an incentive for you to really like go out and peel the honor there. So all you really have to do is do what you were doing before, is like chill on high ground or chill on cart and just shoot and build your beat, and then like boot people who are being and like harass them and just not let them get to your back lane in the first place. Just play like a marking style of Lucio. On the attack, I'm a little bit worried with the Sigma because you don't really have a lot of pushing power on tank in this comp. So I'm wondering, I want to see how you play this, because Echo is really difficult to +1 as Lucio. You'd be better off playing Mercy or Kiri if you were to do that. Kiri has the auto aim heals and can TP to her, and Mercy obviously is pocketing her as a perma pocket in the sky. Widow, you don't really need to be around that much besides like occasionally peeling her. You could continue to rotate the Ana, but on offense, there's not many like flank routes that you could go for. You could go with your Echo through left and try to like go for a nade hit here. Maybe your Echo goes through this way and then fights at the same time as your team and goes that way. If you want to do some like team related setups, because I know you Mage are all VC and all like common and stuff, right? These are things to think about. But I think from a ranked perspective, if your DPS is not willing to +1 with you here, because you want to go through left and you want to take top and you want to get rid of top, because majority of tank players in this elo are not going to take top, and you know that, right? You will.
Yeah.
You as like the mobile character, you want to be the one to do that. If the scenario like presents itself where you can't do that and you're like going Frogger mode and you have to like 1v5 to do that, just forget going height, honestly. Unless you know you can get kills, it's better to just like chill on point and play for your Sig, like speed your Sig around. Because Sig is a character that's balanced around, he's just like poking, very low mobility character. He can't get to high ground all that easily, and he can't like in and out because he has no mobility cooldown. But he's really good at holding space, and just like Rialto is a lot of long corridors, right? It's and again, one of the disadvantages of Sigma is low mobility. It's going to take him a really long time to get to one of these corridors, but when he does, he's really strong. Lucio kind of mitigates his weakness in the sense. So you can just speed your Sig around, and he becomes the Thanos win condition of your team. So that's what I would be playing for on the attack. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, I would on attack play how you've been playing, but play through your Sig now. We're just poking through main. Again, not much we can do in the early stages of cart. That's very aggressive. Very
Yeah, I'm
aggressive.
hoping to boop him around the corner and into our team. I just saw an opportunity for it.
I would be careful doing that. Good idea. Remember the tanks have steadfast passive, so they're going to inherently take less boop than anyone else. So it's better to do it for DPS characters. You're also going into the hallway against like Monkey. You're not really that worried about, but Genji Shurikens, BAP damage, and Ana Sniper, right? So like,
Yeah.
if they hit their shots, you die for that. Now I wouldn't mind it if my Sig shield was around here, this area, where it would block the incoming damage from 3 people. Then you could boop him here, and you can go for like a quadruple shot, like ideally headshot into punch, and you do surprisingly good damage in the Winston close range. I see why that's what you were going for. And then he would get naded, and he'd probably die. Or at least he'd be 1 HP, and he'd get his jump forced out.
Have to back out. We
and
get a
then,
bunch of space.
And then our Sig walks, we get a bunch of space. Yeah, we shoot with Sigma orbs, these two, and they die. So like I like the idea. I just think you have to be careful. Or you do it from this position, and you boop him into here. Because remember,
That's fair.
this room is difficult for Monkey to jump through. Because if he jumps, he'll hit his head over top here, and he's like chaseable from this position. And if he jumps this way,
jump back.
he has to like peer out of this because he'll bonk his head on the roof, right? So
Yeah.
if you were from this position, you could also boop him into this room, and it would do like essentially the same thing.
If I'm going more cover instead of out in the open. Basically.
Yeah, just don't do it in the open. And if you do boop a Monkey, like remember that it's not horrible value if you're able to boop him and he doesn't have a jump avenue out on this Rialto. Like I don't think Monkey, like this Monkey is not a good pick from them, especially where he's positioned. So
yeah,
something to keep in mind. Yeah, but I would be prioritizing if you're gonna play this like more like aggressive play style, or we're making individual boot plays, to play from an angle almost like a DPS.
Okay.
And I think on Rialto, you don't really have to play on cart. You play on cart, but you take a really soft off angle here.
Gotcha.
Now I know Soldier's here, so it's a little bit tough. You can even like go around here. Like you could poke from this position too. And then if you see an avenue to go up top, like maybe your DPS tries to take it, and you can +1, maybe boop the Soldier off height, and then you take height and you just like chill here and shoot. And then you always have the avenue, the ability to drop down and help your team if need be. Right? So that's also something to think about. Okay, so we're gonna take top here.
Yeah, my Echo's going, so I'm looking, or she was going. I'm a little late.
Too aggressive.
That's fair.
You're getting a lot of aggro there, but your Echo number 1 needs to hit her shots to make that play to work. Like, and it's too contingent on too many things going right. You're basically being like, I'm tanking, so you carry me.
That's fair.
That was you that fight. I don't mind the idea. I just think like play a lot more disciplined in the cover.
Yeah.
And like you detracting aggro from them, not horrible. It's just the way that you do it. Like you're face tanking them when you do it.
Right.
Because the idea is not bad. You from a game sense perspective, you know what to do. Clear top of your Echo. Yeah, there's fine. That's a good boop. And then we're gonna leave. See, this is what I'm talking about. You can't be on healing amp there. You have to like from this corner to this corner, speed to make your way into the cover so that you don't take unnecessary damage.
Yeah, especially with my Ana there, like.
But here is fine, like healing in the downtime, like we're not really speeding for anything. Now we speed in because you got a pick. You don't have to play for your Soj there, yeah, you kind of just go to cart. Push it a little bit, if their team like contests it, then whatever, yeah, we go to a new angle. I like this, you played that well. That sequence you played well. Okay, we have nade, we use. I say a little bit of indecision there, but I don't mind it. I would have gone and sped with my on top.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
die for it.
Like,
dropping down.
Definitely play through left side here. Because Star had the right idea. She saw like, oh, we naded Genji. Oh, we killed a support. Okay, now we can like swing wide and almost play like a DPS angle. Especially in these plat diamond lobbies.
I think I'm greeting is what happens. I saw someone low. I think it was the Genji was low after the BAP dies up here to me, and I just,
yeah, not worth it. Not worth it. Because you would rather the instead of like unless they're 1 HP and like you know you can get it, like go in, punch, amp yourself out and survive. But like if you die, you die, right? And if you get isolated or like if the play fails, you get isolated. Like BAP's one here, like you go for a little punch combo and then you escape. The rest like your on is here, your team might be here, and you're here.
Yeah.
Now that gives that gives the monkey an opportunity to push you, right? Like, or you're in a spot where you can't really like do anything on the Lucio besides like go for some kind of like backline play, or poke, or maybe like escape through this way. It's not horrible, but
out of the fight for like several seconds.
A couple seconds, right, yeah. And it's a bit awkward. Versus if you just speed your Ana through top, you can live here, you can poke here, on either side of the window, and then drop down when necessary. You have a mega room over here, and you have a mini on the outskirts in this area. You have a mini here if you want to drop down that way. You have a mega over there if you want to like rotate out with your Ana. And you just have to let your Ana, like when you're calming with her, because obviously this is for viewers. This is when you're calming with someone. This is not like a.
That's me, by the way, I'm the Ana. He was calming with me.
Yeah, don't do it with a random. Well, you could, but like they have to be actively be in a VC and doing it with you. No, you're playing through your Ana here. Let your Ana. It's like a protect the queen scenario, where you're doing everything you can to be in service of your Ana.
That makes sense.
Or you could just continue poking from that position and like speed your Ana into the bridge and leave her there. Risky, but you could. Cart. And then play cart, yeah, and like look for boop value on cart, boop the monkey off, whatever. And just continue to build beat. Like that's the worst of both worlds, where you go forward, but you also don't tax your Ana to where she wants to go.
Yeah.
Because if both supports kill box on top, it's very rare that a Genji player of this level is going to be able to contest you. Mm-hmm. And from what I can tell, he's the only character that can get up there, because Monkey's probably going to be contesting cart. It's like you +1 your Ana there would low-key be like a Thanos play, where it's really difficult to get you off. But this is okay. That was really good damage. The BAP almost died. We got his healing out. A bit of a risky rotation. If the team is better, you die.
I do die, yeah.
Either I would just continue to play bridge, or I would get one of my teammates to come high ground with me, and I would taxi them through, and we would play the close range scenarios. You want to set up as many 2v2 duels with your DPS on the Lucio where you +1, and the enemy team doesn't have a +1 as possible. Like skirmish situations where you're in these close range hallways. You like if the enemy team isn't here, you speed your team through, and then you just drop down on them and contest them and like take high ground for yourself. If they are fighting high ground, then you take the 2v2 on Lucio, but you have speed advantage, right? So you can like play either to, oh, like my DPS hit a shot, I can speed her in. Oh, my DPS is like dying, taking too much heat. We can speed and go out this window, or we can go out this window and like we can just like chill in the corner, and I'm a support, I can heal her. You know, like shit like that, right? Where that's a lot of your core gameplay loop is Lucio on these high ground based maps, assuming you don't have a tank that can go there, which is your Sigma right now. So like, a lot of it is on you to be getting to the high ground there, which I think you understand. but going from cart to high ground, not good. Especially like walking through a tight corridor here and without speed. You want to do it pre-fight, and especially like from a position like here, this is very safe. It's unlikely. Like if the monkey jumps you from a position like this, he has to jump in, then you boot them out, then you like kite into their team this way, and you have like this little area to chill. Versus in open space, you could die. Versus in like a closed corridor where the jump is like he jumps here and he cuts you off, your escape route, you're kind of fucked, right? Whereas like this is a way more awkward jump for him. So keep that in mind. And if you want to go to high ground, do it pre-fight. This is okay. I don't mind playing card here. I would go for a soft off angle on this like window area here. Granted, I'm a DPS player though.
I'm worried about losing LOS to my Soj since she popped OC. I wanted to try and make sure she had speed if she wanted to push in harder.
See here, pre-fight you go high ground. This is better. This is a lot better. When you're not at any risk of like taking any significant damage, you can go high ground. There you just missed the wall ride.
Yeah.
I think there, it's also a little bit slow in the reaction to leave. I would boop him and then like amp speed out and like immediately like get out.
Yeah.
Like boop both the soldier and the Genji, ideally both, but if you can only get one, okay, whatever, get one. And then either drop down or just leave entirely, especially because you're alone there. As much as you want to take top, you usually have to do it with someone occupying or accompanying you.
Yeah.
If it's a character that can kill you. If it's like a BAP or something, you can kind of take that 1v1. If it's an Alari, you can kind of take that 1v1 a little bit. If it's a Moira,
I mean,
Moira's one of your best in 1v1. You know?
Pop 3 ults here, so.
Yeah, like you can't really beat that. There's DPS ult on you. Yeah, no, I think you're more so dying in dumb ways because of inexperience of the character, less so like not understanding it from a macro perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm interested in seeing your Juno code, see if it's more of the same. I doubt it though. I think you'll play a lot more discipline on the Juno. It's because you're like still figuring things out with the Lu.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just less intuitive of where I like want to be. You know, like you can clearly see me thinking in a lot of times. Like there, what I want to do is wall climb, get up top with my Sojourn, and then I just fuck it up.
Yeah, you want to go up here.
Yeah.
You can wall right up this, but I know that some structures like some to Genji, these with like random slants or like surfaces that are not flat make the wall riding difficult. So you could just speed up here if you're like not confident in it, or go up this way. Which granted, because the situation doesn't call for it, you would take the safer option. You'd go right. And if you wanted to go top, but because you're not going top, because you like don't know how to yet with Lucio from a mechanical standpoint, it's just this like loop-de-loop. There's like 5 seconds of indecision here where you're not really like doing anything because you don't know how to get there, even though you know you need to get there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I end up making the like rotation here. I see him. I think I can kill him.
If you played that 5% better mechanically, this is an incredible play, and you survive.
Yeah, no, I should have killed him.
If you hit one more shot here, you kill him and you live, and if you don't live, you get the monkey to jump on you, which is also value. But the 1-for-1 there is not
one of those. I had the idea. I just didn't mechanically have the execution yet on Lucio.
Yeah. Like the soldier pop healing station already, he was I think decently low, and you got the drop on him, and you were full HP. Be very careful when you do that. By the way, you could have died.
Yeah.
Let me just win. Okay. Alright, let's see Juno. 1 second. Code. Did you put it in gen? Yeah, you did.
Yeah. How do I see? Oh, yes.
Servasa, okay.
Yeah, I mean, all competitive seasons on my main right now, I have 4 hours of Lucio, so. And solo cutie is the same rank range. It's like D5.
Let's get this mission started.
Let me go to point. So how the Saravasa plays out in my head with the comp that you're on. I want to make sure that your monkey rolls out on that. Okay, it's gonna be queen. That's fine. So let's see. Let me map this out. Assuming your team plays this properly, which I mean we'll see. You have your Kiri Genji stacked on high ground, poking out the enemy high ground, and also like threatening cart a little bit. You'd have your queen here, and what do you want, Torb? You and your Torb are stacked together instead of you and your support in this comp.
Right.
Because your like mobility characters are contesting the high ground. And your role here is to just speed ring your queen in or speed ring you and the Torb out if someone engages on you. And you're either looking for like the queen Genji Kiri hit in this area, or again, you're looking to speed out in case you get hit it on yourself. And then you're more so, you're just playing the heal bot on the queen, heal bot on the Torb, and like supplementary healing onto Genji and Kiri if you can. But those two, like this entire high ground stack is going to be able to peel for themselves majority of the time. So you're like, when it comes to Genji, you're almost barely worrying about him at all. You're more so thinking about keeping you and your Torb alive and then speeding your queen in. And then like the Genji will come in on his own for the hit, right? So that's you as a Juno in this comp. And besides that, just heal botting. So we'll see how that goes. So we have ring in 5. Mage is going to go for the +1 on Genji. This is good. There, I don't mind the speed ring. I was going to say something about it, but I think that's more of a precautionary speed ring of I don't know what my queen is going to do with it. Therefore, let me put it down just in case, because she's in a weird position where she can die to the hog if I don't place it.
That was my concern, because she's standing, when I shoot it, she's standing face to face with the hog, and I see like 3 enemy teammates behind her. So I don't know if she wants to go in and try and get an axe on their backline to get heals, or like what she's doing.
Yeah.
It's just a random, this is ranked, so.
Oh, I skip 2 ahead. Yeah, so here you don't know. Giving her the ring is gonna help her make the rotate out. I see. There, I would probably save torpedoes, but it's not horrible usage of it either.
I preloaded up because I think they're gonna push the queen. So I want to hit the enemies too, but it just isn't there, so I let it go.
This is good. That's really good, yeah. A lot of that is a lot of the core gameplay loop of Juno, where you have speed ring to help your team out when you're like stabilized on a cart like this on one side, and then peeling for the other part of the duel that's happening on the other. So that was good peel. Let's see what happens next. As long as you put yourself in a position where you don't get hooked, which I like there, what you're doing, where you're sitting on top of your queen, so your queen will, even if like he aims the hook at you, the queen will take it, and then you just heal her with the M1. Right, so this is good. I'm gonna speed ring in case your queen wants to go in, which I like. We're just spamming hog. Yeah, this is all normal so far. I'm gonna chase the Juno. Speed ring to help. Careful, careful. You end up living. This is pretty weird. Not really your fault though. It's just ended up being forced back into a position that you have to use movement CDs to get back to. It's fine. One thing I'll say with your Juno is that there are some situations where you could look to shoot the enemy team a bit more. Even though, like, because you have the very, like, heal bot, like, heal your team base mentality to build Juno ult faster and, like, guarantee that they live. But I think in some of these pre-fights, you could be spamming down main a little bit, just get a little bit of extra ult charge. Same thing that I'm talking about with Lucio. Not even, like, damaging to kill them, just damaging to help your, like,
Just build ult
in pre-fight when no one is, like, taking damage. Because I'll see sometimes your team will be full HP, and you'll still peek around to see if anyone isn't, right? Like,
yeah.
They'll have that massive crit need healing icon on the screen if they really need healing. Otherwise, your team, like, they're playing on their own merit. Like, they'll know. Let me look back on the fight because I was talking about time. I wasn't paying much attention. So we're gonna speed back to the fight. We have ring. Okay. Where's my team stage? So we have Genji, jump. Let's work on the angle here. Yeah, I don't hate the ring. I don't hate the ring. I think you saved the Juno there.
Yeah, in retrospect, I think I do too. I end up getting their Juno out somehow from it, but my idea, and I didn't convey this, is that Genji goes past the ulting hog with my Juno ult with the Torb, and we're able to get some trades. Obviously, that is not what happens.
Think the displacement when the hog already has positioning, and, like, for example, like, they want to fight and you're coming through a choke, if you press Juno on your feet, he just presses Q in the area that you guys are trying to run through and basically denies the Juno ult in exchange for a hog ult, which is a really worth trade. Versus if you played a dry fight and, like, you intentionally die but you bleed fights out or ults out, not fights out, you bleed ults out, then you can take this fight now. You're taking here with 90, and yeah, the push is awkward, but at least now you have, like, a semi-guaranteed Juno ult that your team can fight into.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Now again, in hindsight, they had Juno, so they probably would, like, if they didn't use it the fight before, they would now. But, like, you'd much rather have Juno for this fight where they have Blade plus Queen and your Juno damage and healing in these, like, these chaotic fights where your Queen is using mobility cooldown, your Genji is blading, like, you don't know how the fuck you're gonna be able to heal him through a blade, right? It's difficult as a Juno to track him in through that. You have the safety net of being able to just press Juno ult on point and not worry about it, and then worry about peeling for yourself. But then we get kind of a rush touch, we end up dying to the Genji, which is, like, not much you could do. We come back, torpedoes are good. A little bit careful of this Torb. Like, there, I would shoot the Torb just to HP check him.
That's fair.
Like, see, like, oh, is he pushing me and he's low? Like, if not, like, I can just shoot him a couple times and kill him. Versus, like, the healing there on that Kiri, she's already, like, I think 75% HP. If she needs to play her life, she'll just wall climb. But here, though, you want to be heal botting the Queen. This makes sense. Keep her up as long as possible to build ult.
I'm moving weird because there's a Genji chasing me that whole time.
Yeah, no, that's normal. It's good to be, like, pathing in a weird way to, like, you're not seeing the Genji, but you're aware that he's there, which is good.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be looking at an opponent to know that they're there and, like, play around them being there. Like, there, you're not even paying any mind to the enemy Juno, but it's okay because your mindset is, I need to peel for this tank as long as possible until she builds ult.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. You guys are you lost the fight, so you're gonna have positioning response for this one. Making a rotation through here is a little bit difficult, so you stay on the corner, which I like. Good. Chase. Yeah, chase. fine. What do we have? Fight plan. 75 Juno. We have Blade 92. If I was the Genji, then I would look to blade this like corridor area. But of course, I'm not Diego. So. Yeah, not much to say about this. You're kind of just pre-firing them to get some ult charge, not really poking because there isn't really a safe position for you to do so because of the hog.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of spam damage on the tank. Like from this position, you definitely can peek a little bit more than you are. But I don't mind the safety. That's really good. That's really good Juno damage. That's a fight-winning peel by killing.
Yeah, I mean, he had the hog ult on my queen in the corner. I can't heal through that, even with Juno ult, you know? He dies or she dies.
the enemy team just isn't able to make a substantial push with the Juno speed. I'm so curious as to why. Okay. Yeah, I would have been fine holding your position there. I know you're a bit worried about the ball, but let's go back there. So ball rolls through.
I also get stuck, which is a...
Molten Core drops. Off angling here is going to take a little bit too much time, especially because the queen is low and she's going to be going this way. You're going to want to be in this general area so you can still heal her. So I get you staying, and I like you staying. We're going to get a little bit of extra healing on him. I just think that you're way, way, way too prioritizing, like, keeping this JQ up at the cost of your own life when your life matters just as much, if not more.
Right.
And a little bit of extra damage you take to peel her ends up killing her. Like, you don't have to go out of your way to heal this player. She's going to get a lot of overhelp from her queen ult. Look at the HP that she's at right now with queen plus shout.
Yeah.
Like, she will come back onto the point, and ideally she will play in this area, like, either in your Torba ult, or in this little safe pocket where there isn't any damage being taken from her, and she'll just poke here, wait for the Torb ult to subside, and she'll be in a position where you can still heal her, and your Torb plus you can peel off the ball and like at least do damage to the ball and harass the ball, and you live for a little while longer. Maybe you get an extra trade out here, and you're able to keep this fight going.
That makes sense.
Now, it's not horrible because you get ults out, we're trading. Your Torb just ends up killing everyone with the goo.
Yeah, I mean, we win the fight, but it's not because of me.
There, just be okay with shooting at what's in front of you, instead of like going to it to shoot it. Like putting yourself in a worse position to help somebody.
That makes sense.
Just let them come to you, because that queen is inevitably going to come back to point. And if you die to the ball, well, at least you played it properly, you know?
Right.
And you lived for that little extra while longer. Maybe you get a couple shots into him. Maybe you like get a kill. Juno ult for tempo. I don't mind it. A little bit of a waste in hindsight, but it does give you point control, so not the end of the world. You got a lot of position.
Yeah, they end up hiding it out, but...
Just keep in mind that you would rather have it for the Juno trade, because
yeah.
Let's look at their ult situation. Your Misfit has died. They have Juno. They have Juno Blade. Especially because your Kiri's died and you have Suzu. You are a very susceptible target to this Genji. So there, I think, is a more of a matter of you need to ult track.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like
you said, my idea of it was just tempo. I wanted to get us the point control and make sure that they couldn't really contest us when we tap.
If you're going
especially against the ball.
If you're going to do that, then everybody needs to be on the same page. Like, you need to be invasive with your queen. Genji saying, everybody go hit. I'm going to give you a speed ring here. And you guys just go for the hard hit. And you try to, like, win with a one ult push, right? And if they Juno ult in response, you, like, you like that. Because, like, you force tempo on your own terms. And you make them ult in a situation where they don't get to ult the way they want to. I like that. Like, that's all fine. The principle behind it is fine.
Yeah.
Not even execution. I think it's just communication.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this just seems, from what I saw, it looks like too easy of a kite from this Juno to speed ring out. It seems like it's way too easy for them to cheat their way out of a free haul. and how they're just gonna like back, like, yeah, you
I
guys
think
get
it's
point control
early
for a
is
bit.
my problem. They're not fully engaged yet like I thought they were.
Yeah, it's a bit early. It can work even though it's early. It just has to be a full team coordination thing where you guys like all go in with a safety net of the Juno. Everybody like speed rings and then hits. But you don't know that
Yeah.
because it's ranked, right? It's just random teammates. But if you have like me or someone like you do it with, it's a DPS player that could coordinate that, then it'd be better for you.
Right.
Yeah, they are interesting. It is like because Juno's macro is so like obvious and what to do incorrectly and correctly. I really have to like be hard on you when it comes to the ult usage because the ult is the big thing with the character in terms of like fucking up or not. Like the
Yeah,
ult
that's like
is
her biggest value.
it is
It's not
such a
always
big
obvious.
ult that you have to be like really disciplined in its usage.
Yeah.
Versus
no, that
her
makes sense.
neutral is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, this is all fine. I want a little bit more active, like going the right side and like playing through right side. But I mean, not the end of the world. You end up being in a position where you can peel for your Torb there. This is really awkward. Like I don't like you in open space here at all.
I should have probably rotated left, I think, actually, instead of right with my Kiri.
You can play left here and this is fine. Plus, you could like give a speed ring to the team if they need it, either there, or for yourself to escape if you get like Dovin on.
Yeah.
I don't really like swinging wide here. This I don't mind. This I like too. Like I don't mind everybody stacking on an angle if the angle that we're on is really oppressive, like high ground, and then we have a tanky like Junker Queen just sitting here that you can easily like look at. Like you don't
That
have
makes
to be, you don't have to be behind the queen to be with her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Like-
think I am worried about double stacking with my Kiri Genji.
I'm not
trying
worried
to-
at all. I'm not worried at all
Okay.
because high ground is so like oppressive on this certain part of Saravasa that like low key you being stacked away from your team is more detrimental to you because you're now isolating yourself to a Genji.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Like if you're here, now your Kiri has to Suzu TP you. Versus if you're here and a Genji dives you, she might just have to Suzu and then maybe like, or not even Suzu, maybe she hits a shot, a body shot or two, and then heals you through it, and then use like speed ring out, right? Versus like if you put yourself where both supports are not stacking together, like,
I get you. It just like it forces the way more resources from my team. It forces me to be more resource intensive.
yeah. Or like from a DPS perspective, I would agree with you, but from a support perspective, I'm okay stacking here. Plus, like Juno off angling is very risky because of her, like how like if the roles were reversed and you were a Kiri here, I actually wouldn't mind it because now you would have like a poking vantage point from here, and you could always TP to your Genji Juno if things like if shit hit the fan, right? And you'd also have
Right,
like,
but I'm not.
but you're not, right? So I want to see how this goes again. So like here, I would be playing like speedering through top, and remember, even though you don't want to be stacking with your Kiri Genji, think of your win condition with your Queen Genji. Like you want to be speeding through and letting them like use your speed as a rotate to either go for a hit or like take positioning, right? If you're able to just, you don't even have to use speed ring here. I think you could just walk through with your Genji Queen, and now you have high ground, and now you speed them through, and they get a really good vantage point here. Versus if you play through main, you're playing into a cast Kiri Juno with speed ring, and we're 99 Kiri, and we have ball, pile drive plus mines on point. You don't want to be fighting point here at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you would rather go for the your team is way more squishy in the frontline trade, so you'd rather go for the wraparound backline hit, which is supplementary by you using a speed ring. So you stacking with your team, it's not that like it's not problematic at all. Here. And I'm watching 2x speed. You staying for a little bit, it ends up like helping your Torp survive, and I think he would have lived there anyway. If overload, he would have been able to survive the ball.
I think he would have too. Yeah, and then mines goes out.
And here, like, Coming through main? Okay, I can forgive that. But I think it's that we we go back into main again. There. And like down the line. Good. Careful.
We didn't have a touch.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking. That should be your Genji. That's weird. I don't know why.
It should have been. We were yelling at him to touch, and he just wouldn't have touched.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah. This is good peel on the ball.
So I go for the dip my toes on point and then get the fuck out of there.
Chase the Genji, yeah, like this. Speedrun. You realize, okay, he's too far. It's fine. You don't want a Juno if you don't have to, but you have it. I know you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think I thought the same thing, that I wanted to save if I could.
Yeah, if they push you, then you pop it. If they don't, and they give you the flip, then, well, we have it for first fight, next fight. So far, they're building Juno at the same tempo as you, so I would, like, especially because you're playing a non-mechanically intensive role, be ult-tracking every other fight. Like, okay, I know that they're going to have Juno around the same time as me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here, like, because this is, like, a closer, like, your team didn't, like, team wipe, and they just, like, gave the flip. The two teams are going to come to point around the same time, so Juno ulting early doesn't really matter in this instance. Especially because, like, in hindsight, you didn't know this at the time, but enemy Juno doesn't have ult. Even if she does, we're doing Juno for Juno, stacking on top of each other, which is not bad. Right?
Yeah.
So before the other fight, it was too early because the team hadn't gotten to point yet. Now, because both of you guys are going to intersect each other at the same time in a very boxy point, Juno ulting early isn't bad. Now, you guys end up winning without it.
Saving, yeah, both cows were up.
But if you guys, like, weren't up and you were, like, coming into this area here and matching the enemy team here, Juno ulting early, I don't mind it because then you get point control and you guys are up one, right? So
yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
in this situation, I wouldn't mind it. But you saved, which is good because you realize you're +1. Gonna go help. Now here is a matter of how your team wants to play it. In my mind, it goes one of two ways. So either A, we've won this fight, we get our staging for next. And then, let me go back a little bit. Oh, we swapped, sorry. Okay. We have our staging for next. We have our Genji here, or on low ground, ready with our Queen. We try to hit them as they walk out with ults or, like, abilities. They're curious alone on an angle. And then, like, we go with the Juno hit, speed ring, Juno ult, and then Genji ult or whatever over here. Or we let them in, we speed ring out this way, and then we go towards this optional. It's a little bit more like team-based. You wouldn't do this in ranked unless your team was like really locked in. You would go away, try to kite an ult out, and then come back in with the ult.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The more consistent ranked play, because it's easier to execute and more like simple to understand for your team, is to just immediately go in and match ult for ult and hope that you win by like outplaying execution, which is what you guys are intending to do here. Like that just annoys me.
My face, you saw it. I'm staring at my fucking team.
when your team coordinates for you to do it, I hope that you coordinated that, because if you just like press Juno expecting them to go in, like, okay, well, like that's you, right?
No.
But, like,
we were in VC. We're stacked. Look. If you back up, we are stacked. I press my speed ring. I press my Juno ult.
And you come, you're gonna go.
Yeah. And then they.
Why are we so afraid?
Everybody backs up. They don't pop anything. They don't do anything. Nothing's happening.
Like, okay, maybe you're worried about Zarya bubbled Cass, but I feel like your Queen plus Genji and Juno ult could probably kill him in time. Or at least your Genji would be able to, like,
deflect in his face, right? Like.
Yeah, and like stall for time. I get. See, this is why the number 2 play that I was mentioned earlier is more consistent because it denies the enemy team the ability to just like ult, and then your Plat Genji is stupid, so he's not gonna know what to do against it, right? And then like it avoids the situation from happening entirely where you end up wasting your ult. If you like you bait them in, then you path out with speed ring, they're gonna press cast like they did here to engage. You guys are over here, you've cheated an ult effectively. Now you go in and your Genji and your like DPS frontline are not worried about it with a Juno ult. So
Yeah.
that's why I say like option 2 is the ideal one where you kite an ult out first, you kite a push out first, and then you go. But like this hit, I'm not gonna blame you for it. I think this really should have been better coordinated with your Genji. I don't know why your Genji didn't go in. Now he's gonna go in.
Yeah.
Does it get value? Yes. Yes.
But
So it ends up working out, but we're getting trades. Like this is a bit. Yeah, I don't like this. I'm not gonna blame you for that one.
I did have a plan in mind, you know. It just it didn't work out.
Good. You should not mind like speeding into here as fast, very hindsight, but speeding into here as fast as possible, or even like speeding into the Genji, like I don't know, like not into the Genji, but in his direction and go this way, rather than going towards the point where he's going to dash to. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
But like isolating yourself intentionally so that the Genji has to go to you if he wants to kill you, which makes it so that he isn't where everyone else is.
Honestly, I didn't think that he was as close to me as he was to dash me like that.
Oh, well done, game.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go to like 10 or 11 minutes or whatever and double speed it, I guess.
Yeah.
God, mid-season patch can't come quick enough.
Genuinely, like it actually pisses me off. Like, oh my god! Please, game! What?
Gotta let it load.
Please don't crash my game.
Yeah, there you go.
And so this happens. And here is where I would path into him. So I would go into him and I would make him, like, because you're pathing in the direction, the general vicinity of your team here. If you path this way,
It makes him choose.
it makes him choose.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, you shouldn't be the one doing that. You're one of your DPS, ideally, so that, like, especially your Genji, so that Genji, like, he's going to ego and he's going to chase for the Genji kill, right? He does it instead of Juno. But, like, as long as someone does it, then the Genji has to choose you. And then it ends up, like, killing less people. Obviously, you guys ideally all path together and kill him, but
Yeah.
it's too hectic of a fight. Your torpedoes did kill one, though. Seems we're gonna lose this and just, like, leave. Yeah, it is too insurmountable of a lead.
Yeah, you can tell that I don't really want to be there.
I would let your Rhine die, honestly. I don't know, though. You are building a little bit of wall. And you're gonna get the respawn in a second.
My thought was just wave respawn and we're already both here.
Yeah, not horrible. This is okay. Be very careful. Which you are. Double jump. Does Juno have a glide, like Mercy?
Yeah, where you like float.
Hold spacebar, yeah. You didn't need to use your shift there.
That's fair.
Just in case you need it, like you get poked out and you need it for like the burst movement or something else. Nice. Playing this area I like, and then you back off when the fight swings so that you don't get isolated from that position. It's a good mini off angle to like do damage and heal at the same time, and you get torpedo on both sides.
Yeah.
Now like the middle area is very good. But you can't stay there for long, which you know. Alright, heal. Sorry, it's pretty high charge, so we're gonna dip. Did you win this game? Or no?
I don't remember. This might be a loss.
This is whoa.
Oh, I died for this. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
no.
It's just a bad rotation.
Just poke. You work really close to Juno too. This is gonna costing your team 20% ish. Not the end of the world, but
Yeah, in a close game, doesn't matter.
especially because it's 2-2. Here I'm looking for speed ring Juno Genji. Yes. Bring him in. Good. He blades way too late. Yeah, way too late. I want to see that from his POV.
Oh yeah, we end up losing. There you go.
Please don't client disconnect me. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna go back to the bottom, but I will show you some stuff.
So fair. That's so fair.
I will show you some stuff while I can in the training range, at least for Lucio. And then we'll write the summary. Training. Yeah. So go, Lou. And if I look directly up, you see the monumental difference this makes?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
It becomes like almost faster than wall climb if you just go directly up.
Yeah, that's huge.
Makes a monumental difference. When you're making rotations from A to B in a straight line, remember, no heal bot. Use speed to get you through, and then if you need heal, then you heal. You heal once you're in a safe position to heal.
Yeah.
Right? And remember, your left click does a lot of damage. And then, obviously, wall riding is going to give you a lot more momentum and overall movement speed than if you just ran and amped.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
like
when-
I said, I have gotten a lot more comfortable with the Lucio.
So whenever you have the opportunity to wall ride, you should be wall riding. Like basically, like as long as you're not actively sacrificing uptime or healing or damage or like anything, you should be incorporating wall movement into your base gameplay. Because it leads to the fastest rotations. Like look at how fast I'm able to move across the map while like going like Frog or Venomite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a lot quicker than boots on the ground Lucio. And like floor, it's called floor Lucio by the Lucio community. You play a very like supporty, disciplined style, which can work against certain comps, but like you have to leverage your mobility in certain situations, especially that Rialto where high ground is so important.
Right. Yeah.
To be able to like win the game. And you do a lot of damage on Lucio too. Like I already said that, but you do a lot of damage on Lucio. Like if I were to drop down assassin combo this fucking bot, like that's quick DPS. For his perks, both are good situationally. Although I think Grooven, this right one, I like more. Because you're wall riding a lot on Lucio, and it makes it so you just have to reload less. So you have like a lot more DPS overall uptime. You get more kills, you can build beat faster. Although boop knockback is definitely good too in certain situations. I think Lijiang Tower, Ilios Well, maps where you have like very inherent boop value. It makes just booping DPS characters, even tanks, that much easier, you know? So
Yeah, it negates the tank passive completely.
Also, try to beat on like ledges like this for a faster beat. If you have like a certain amount of momentum, it'll make it so that if you initiate it here, you'll do like Lucio does a little jump when he ults. You'll land heal, you'll get it a lot quicker. It also beating on point is faster than beating in the open. for that reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if I get this, if I beat on this, it's quicker than if I beat it in just the open
Right
space.
there. Yeah.
It's mostly applicable on cart, and you're playing cart decently often on Lucio, depending. And yeah, I think that's about it for Lu. Other than that, save your amp for key moments. Healing amp is only needed as like a burst heal, like 2v2 when you're fighting with someone on an angle, whether it be DPS, tank, whatever, and you need a little bit of extra sustain to survive. Otherwise, you're using speed amp to rotate people in and out of fights, or you're using it to get out yourself. Also, when you ult, never be on healing. You should almost always be on speed after you ult.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You have beat to get through the engage. You don't really need to heal.
Yeah. There are like very niche scenarios where you beat someone on 1 HP and they'll come out of the beat on 1 HP. Then you want to heal them a little bit, maybe. But like 99% of the time, you're going to want to amp speed after you, especially with the new perk, after you pop your... It's very helpful for DPS players, especially. Gives them a little bit of extra momentum to like take a duel they normally wouldn't be able to without it. Even if they have 1,000 HP, they still have to get to the opponent, you know.
Yeah.
What else? What else? Not much else. I think just get used to kill combos like this. Just practice his mechanics.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lucio is a super mechanically intensive character, so it just takes a lot of time.
Yeah. You also need somewhat of a DPS brain to play him in the like mechanical. And for Juno, let's go to her. For Juno, be okay when you're like in poke phase, not like hugging wall and then like looking at your team, although that is good, but like take free spam damage like this.
Yeah.
Like look at how much ult I'm building. And even like if you're not confident, just shoot tank. Oh, and for Juno's DPS, keep in mind, I know you already know this, but there is a trade-off between using left click and torpedoes. You want to use torpedoes like follow-up damage on people you're not realistically going to hit with your left click. There's a big amount of downtime when using your torpedo. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's less DPS and healing per second to torpedo.
Hyper boost, not that useful. Obviously, you know this. One of your vitals is definitely the better one. And then the pros like the headshot one. I also like the headshot one. I think there's no reason not to use the headshot one.
Only time you ever take the not headshot one is against a super dive heavy comp. The glide reset can help you because you basically become a flyer. Like you essentially have air uptime similar to like an echo. So it makes you a little bit harder to get dove by like a tracer or a doomfist, stuff like that.
Yeah. But I'd say like 99% of the time, the headshot just turns you into like BAP level damage. You basically become BAP. Which is really, 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 really good on a hero like this. Where her ult is like way better than BAP's currently in the current meta.
Yeah.
So you're able to just build.
Yeah, the headshot damage is crazy
in Juno.
especially in Juno.
I know that Juno's ult is based on LOS and like you looking at your camera. I think sometimes you don't Juno and then kite back when you notice your team's kiting back and the Juno ult goes backwards. I don't know if it's able to go backwards if you look backwards, right? Like from where you initially casted it?
Whatever direction you look, so you press Q and then whatever direction you look is where it goes. So if you press Q and then like you're moving forward but or pressing S, right? If you're walking backwards, it'll still go forwards.
Okay. And if I like initially cast it
like,
forward, but I turn around,
it's still going the same direction.
It's still
but there's like when you press Q, there's a window where you can flip your camera.
Yeah, where you do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just the cast time. Okay, okay. I thought that it was controllable by just like raw camera like, all the time during the entire duration of the ult. That's actually I didn't know that. So that
It's where you place it. It just goes forward for 8 seconds. Or 10 seconds.
Okay, then if that's the case, I think sometimes as a Juno, you almost have to have like a sixth sense for when you have to do this. Yeah, I can't cancel my speed, but you get what I mean. When you have to do that versus when you have to do this. There are some scenarios where you actually have to do this.
Yeah,
And then do it forward.
that makes sense.
I think knowing the difference of when you want to like go back into your team and then Juno ult, so that like, let's say point is here, everyone's fighting here. If you Juno ult from this position here, the Juno ult is gonna go yes towards the enemy backline, but eventually it's not gonna be on the point anymore.
Yeah.
Versus if you do it from this position, it's gonna start on your team and then it's gonna go into the point so that your team has it in the point and they're fighting actively on it.
Yeah.
So, like-
Juno ulting backwards is also pretty good on defense. Like if you're holding a point right in front of the
You
point.
can kite out while having the ult on you, yeah, while you're leaving.
Yeah.
So like, you
Depending
can
on
fight
the
while you're in it. So
obviously.
go in it and then speeding out. And now we have it. And then
Right. You have sustain. You have the damage boost,
Yeah.
so you can just kite out whatever they're doing.
it's generally, that's a lot better than doing like something like a Kiri ult or a nano backwards. That's a lot better backwards. It's either of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's about it for Juno as well, when I could tell. Other than that, I think in ranked play, speed ringing for your tank, because like there's a little bit of uncertainty, you don't know how they're gonna play around cover and whatnot, is good. But remember that to win on Juno with like DPS, especially in this like Genji focused meta, a lot of it is going on an angle, speeding them through a hallway, and then getting them to get a hit on backline, rather than playing for your tank speed ring. Although in like the early
I will
fights,
say that it's also more difficult for me because, as you know, the duos that I play with tend to be the ones taking the off angles with my DPS, right? It'll be like a Mercy or Kiri or something like that.
yeah. So usually you're
so
not,
it makes
you're not
it
stacking
harder
them.
for me to be able to peel over for like a Genji Mercy 2v2 or something.
But I think it just comes with being knowing when to take top versus when to like play main, more so than just like speeding or not speeding. How do I put this? Like, there are some games where I'll play with you guys where like I'll say, oh, let's go top, and not everyone goes top. Or there'll be some games where like, let's go top, and then if you're in the exact same situation where I would say we need to play top, and you guys are playing without me, you won't go top. You know, like they're just it just comes with, I guess, me being on DPS or like game sense and experience when it's better to play through top than versus like just like playing through main. I think.
Sure.
Like even if you have the intention of fighting main, going through top to get to main sometimes can be good. Like in that Queen comp, you don't want to take that much damage frontline. You lose the frontline against they have a Kiri ult, they have minefields on point, right? You want to go through and hit their backline. And if they like match you on top, well, at least they matched you on top. They have to think an extra layer. If you like go through high
and then
ground.
you can drop to point instead of you're just already fighting.
You're already fighting on point into the minefield. Right.
Yeah.
So those are things to think about. I think you play what's in front of you quite well, but I think the next step for you is on the Juno, think 2 or 3 steps ahead. Especially like think of what your team needs for the macro. Like me, I'm a DPS player, but like for me, I shouldn't be the one in like a comp scenario to be calming the angle like positioning of like everyone in the fight. That's more so than like your job as a main support or your tank's job, right? In a like a coordinated like 5-man setting, because you're playing a character that doesn't have, and this is crucial actually for those watching. You're playing a character that's not very mechanically intensive, even though she has some mechanics to her. This gives you a lot of leeway to be the key decision maker for your team, where a lot of your like mental energy is being spent towards calming and fight planning and ult tracking and all of that. That's why support players are usually the ones to do it, because tanks are so occupied with in-game leadership and like positioning and macro and all that crap, and DPS are so focused on their mechanics. Like in the middle of the fight, they have to like lock in. So majority of the time, they're only doing basic callouts like X player is 1, or can we take top, or can we blah blah blah, whatever, right?
Right, but it's
Really
not like
simple
the
stuff.
actual macro of what the fight is evolving into and where you want to take it and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I'd say for a main support player, you were like the second IGL of the team behind the tank. So
Gotcha.
like it's a lot of it is on you. A lot of it is on you to know where you're going. It should almost never be a positional mistake pre-fight. Like in the mid-fight, I understand that people are gonna fuck up, right? But from a fight planning perspective, it should almost never be the support player's fault. Almost ever.
Gotcha.
Like if a DPS player fucks up, okay, whatever. If a tank player ends up making the bad call, at least we made it together. But if I see a support player in the VOD review like getting out of position early or dying first, that's a major cause for concern. I'm not saying that's you.
No, I know what you mean, but that's a lost fight if a support dies early like that because of a dumb positioning mistake.
Yeah.
Like
Especially
immediate.
because it's typically these are the ones who are cooking the communication, like the positioning of where we want to go in a fight. If not
Right,
a tank, they're like backing it up. You should have an idea of where you want to go. Basically, like support players, especially the ones with what's it called? Especially the ones with speed utility, like Juno, that can speed teams through hallways and whatnot. You need to be the one taking the initiative to be like, we need to be here, 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 and here.
Gotcha.
And that just comes with time. Now, obviously, you have any questions? Well, you could always VOD review with me.
Sure. Yeah.
And that goes to anyone. So, yeah, that's about it. I'll do the write-up now.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.